Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I am going to be talking about this topic that you see on the board. But first, before that, I don't know if you guys noticed the change in dress code. Today, instead of the usual white tee, I'm putting on the Uganda Cranes jersey because now is the time to celebrate the win. For those of you that might not know that are not in Uganda, is that we had a game, a qualifiers game with South Sudan, and we were able to score against them, and the game ended 1-0, and it's a huge milestone for Uganda, especially being that the qualifiers are going on and that we will be hosting the next AFCON championship. So back to the main video. Today we'll be talking about how to stand out in the market, because part of the thing that usually swallows startups is because when you start, you clearly have other competition, and that competition might have more money, more experience, might have been in the market longer, and you come with your innovative ways that might not be what the people are used to. So usually the idea is to have your unique selling proposition, and your USPs give you what you would call like advantages. And now the number one advantage is that you get to justify your high prices and protect your profitability when you clearly define your unique selling proposition to the consumer, because that way they will be able to understand why they are paying more, and when they actually understand why they are paying more, they will be able now to sustain your profitability. A case in point would be the simple example of Cafe Javas, which now rebranded to CJ's, that you guys know. Their standard meal, which is like the breakfast meal, is around 32,000, and 32,000 is around what, $10? Yet the average Ugandan and the average African actually spends $1 a day. So for you to convince someone to spend $10 on just a breakfast meal, you have to clearly define your USP, your unique selling proposition. And when you do that very well, you don't need to actually work too much. People will understand why they are paying more, and they will actually pay more. So that is advantage number one of clearly defining a USP as a startup. And that CJ's example ties hand in hand with Crocs footwear. I know a lot of you guys wear Crocs, and do you ever stop to think why your Crocs are not just footwear for you? There is that sense of attachment of my Crocs. I have Crocs, I own a pair or two. There is that, like, it's more than just footwear. And how that is achieved is what we're going to be talking about in this series that we are doing. And then advantage number two is that having a unique sales proposition and communicating it helps you to create differentiation, but also to market it. Creating differentiation is one thing, but marketing it and communicating it to the target audience is what actually makes it make a significant change in the business. So iPhone was not the first smartphone that was invented. There are many other smartphones, the Blackberries, the Nokias, and everything. But when iPhone entered the market, they realized that they needed to create a differentiation, something that would differentiate a Blackberry from an iPhone. Someone that would help convince the consumer that you need to pay more for this, because if it was calls, a BlackBerry can make calls. If it was sending a text, a BlackBerry could do that. But an iPhone now came and brought in the touchscreen technology. And this touchscreen technology made all the difference from what you would ordinarily call a smartphone. And people are willing to pay more, and people are willing to switch, people are willing to buy the iPhone at an even higher rate. So how are you creating your differentiation, but also how are you marketing it? Because if any of you guys have been in marketing, you must have heard about the think different campaign that actually was communicating this, and the iPods and the software that would give a better user experience and all that. And this was one of the most successful campaigns ever on the planet when it came to marketing. And then number 3 is know when to apply the emotional sales proposition, because your competition can always copy and implement the differences. Because like here, iPhones, the touch screen was first on iPhone, but it was copied by other dealers like Samsung and everyone else, and they can even do it better than you. Right now as we speak, a Samsung screen is better than an iPhone screen at any stage. If you compare the flagship phone for Samsung right now versus the iPhone 16, the Samsung will have a better screen. But now, how do you communicate the emotional sales proposition in such a way that even when your competition does what they do, and there are only marginal differences in performance, the physical product, people still keep your iPhone and keep that attachment? I don't know if you get what I mean. Because anyone can always duplicate the product that you have, but they cannot duplicate the attachment you have to the client. So usually it's also the war between Adidas and Nike. The Adidas shoes, especially for athletes, versus the Nike shoes, really, there is not so much in terms of like the physical difference and the functionality differences. The most that Nike can do is the most that Adidas can do, or even more, and they will rival each other on all fronts of functionality. But now, the Adidas client will remain an Adidas client, the Nike client will remain a Nike client, simply because of that emotional attachment. So, how knowing when to apply the emotional sales proposition matters, because that helps you communicate better to your audience and also retain and sustain your audience long enough. Number 4 is creating an attachment to your brand. Now, creating an attachment to brand is a whole different ballgame. It's not something that happens in Snap. You have to do it from the onset and consistently build it year after year after year. It's not something that you create in a Snap and its own. So you build your brand imagery and do promotions and sponsorships and go all over and just market the fact that you, like for Apple, when they were doing the Think Different, they really wanted to get the square pegs in round holes. They were appealing to that person who wanted something really, really different, a square peg in a round hole. And they actually have that audience. And to this day, you bear witness that the people that use iPhones, the people that want to use the MacBooks, the people that want to be in the ecosystem are truly square pegs in round holes. So package your brand for the long term for a certain audience and communicate that as much as you can. Now, lastly, number 5, choose your target audience. You can't be communicating that effectively to everyone, because not everyone actually needs your product. And even your startup does not need everyone for you to make money and for you to be successful. So choose your target audience, know where to find them, and also direct all your marketing budget towards that, because then you achieve more with a smaller budget rather than spreading it around for just brand awareness. And examples of that, especially in Uganda, are Tubayo and Radio One. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about Tubayo, the local Airbnb, and also the marketplace. It has appealed to, especially the marketplace has appealed to a certain segment of students at campus who like a certain classy lifestyle and are like sort of bougie but do not want to go shopping like they are just there in between. They can't go shopping at LCYKK every day, but also can't go shopping downtown every day. They're somewhere in the middle, and they have appealed to that audience and sort of collected it and sustained it, and it has grown their brand to being one of the best startups right now in Uganda. So understanding your target audience again. Then number two is like Radio One. For as long as I've known Radio One, they appeal to their old school guys. Like even the music they play, the programs they play, the people they host, and the programs, their whole structure is structured to appeal to that guy. And that is what makes them unique. That's what makes their brand unique, and that's what gives that attachment to their people that listen to them. And then lastly, these are the three questions that you should ask yourself when you're trying to do this study and trying to differentiate your brand from all the rest that might be on the market. But at this point, before we move to the three questions, please pause that video, like, comment, and subscribe. Like, for the sake of this channel, for me to be able to deliver this information to you, I need some sort of traction. And the statistics are actually saying that over 97 of you guys that are watching are not subscribed. So will you pause this video for a moment and just down there, somewhere down there, click subscribe. Okay, now that you're done, thank you. Let's move to the three questions. So these three questions will help you in differentiating your brand from all the rest. Now, number one, what does your startup do well? You might have things that you do, you might have products lined up and how you do them and what not, but what do you actually do well, very well, that your competition also knows, those guys actually do very well in this aspect. Then two, understand what your competition does well. What does your competition do well? When you understand that now, move to the third question, which is one of the most important. What does the consumer want? Because now the consumer is the person who you guys are trying to appeal to, both your competition and yourself. So what does the consumer want? As soon as you have understood those, you'll be able to move on to the next stages of now the application that we have been trying to do, and understand that this takes time, and the earlier you start doing it, the better for your company and your growth. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Like we've mentioned, don't forget to subscribe and like and comment on how we can keep this interaction going. Thank you.